April 22, 2017, 17-year-old Amber Foster vanished from a luxury resort in Cancun, Mexico. Her sandals were found at the edge of a 60-foot cliff. No body was ever recovered. Her mother, Diana Foster, spent 7 years drowning in grief. 7 years believing her daughter was dead. Her husband, Connor Walsh, Amber's stepfather, abandoned her 6 weeks after the disappearance. He vanished without a trace. Diana spent 7 years learning to survive. November 2023. Diana takes a vacation to Costa Rica and sees a woman at a farmer's market. A woman who looks exactly like her dead daughter, with 2 small children, and with Connor, alive. November 18th, 2023, 11:47 p.m. Diana Foster sits in her hotel room in Costa Rica, staring at the wall. Her sister Rachel thinks she's having a breakdown, that 7 years of grief finally broke her mind, that she hallucinated seeing her dead daughter. Her friend Teresa has already called Dr. Moreno, Diana's therapist back in Phoenix, asking what to do when someone has a psychotic break. But Diana knows what she saw. She knows her daughter's face. She knows the scar above her left eyebrow. She knows her eyes, the same hazel-green eyes Diana sees in the mirror every morning. She knows Connor's face, the man who destroyed her, who walked away like her pain meant nothing. And she knows those children, the boy with Amber's smile, the girl with the family nose, her grandchildren, children she never knew existed. Rachel and Teresa want her to fly home tomorrow, want her to see a doctor, want her to accept that grief sometimes plays cruel tricks. But Diana's not going home. Not yet. Because somewhere in this small Costa Rican town, her daughter is alive, living under a fake name, raising Diana's grandchildren, with the man who let Diana bury an empty casket. Diana writes in her journal that night, the same journal she's kept since Amber disappeared. They're alive. I know they are. Rachel thinks I'm crazy. Maybe I am. But I know what I saw. Tomorrow I'm going back to that market. I have to know the truth. I have to know why. She pauses, then adds one more line. And I have to decide what to do about it. Here's a question for you. What would you do in that moment? If you saw your dead child alive, would you call the police? Or would you want answers first? Would you trust the system that failed you 7 years ago? Or would you take matters into your own hands? Diana Foster had 3 days to make that choice. This is what happened next. Welcome back to the Marshall Chronicles. Part 2, The Reckoning. Day 1, November 19th, 6:15 a.m. Diana leaves the hotel while Rachel and Teresa are still sleeping. She leaves a note. Went for a walk. Need to clear my head. Don't worry. But she's not going for a walk. She's going back to the market. 7:30 a.m. The market is just opening. Vendors setting up fruit stands, arranging produce, preparing for the day. Diana finds the fruit vendor from yesterday, the one whose stand Amber was shopping at when Diana saw her. The vendor is an older woman, maybe 60, weathered face, kind eyes. She's arranging mangoes when Diana approaches. Diana shows her an old photo of Amber, the last school photo taken before the resort trip. Amber at 17, smiling, full of life. Have you seen this girl? She might be older now, maybe with children. The vendor pauses, looks at the photo, looks at Diana. Maria? Diana's heart stops. What? That looks like Maria. She comes here sometimes. Nice girl. Always buys too much fruit for those kids to eat. The vendor smiles, but Diana can barely breathe. Maria? Her name is Maria? Maria Rivera. That's what she told me. She doesn't talk much. Quiet, but very sweet with her children. Diana's hands start shaking. When does she come? What days? The vendor thinks. Tuesdays and Saturdays usually, around 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Diana looks at the vendor with desperate eyes. Are you sure? You're absolutely sure? The vendor nods, confused by the intensity. Yes, I'm sure. Is everything okay? Are you her mother? You have the same eyes. Diana can't speak, just nods, walks away before she breaks down completely. She sits on a bench at the edge of the market and cries. Because if the vendor recognized the photo, then Diana isn't crazy. She really did see Amber. Her daughter is alive. Diana calls Rachel, tells her what the vendor said. Rachel's voice is gentle but firm. Diana, people look like other people all the time. This woman probably just resembles... She recognized the photo, Rachel. The vendor called her Maria. Maria Rivera. That's a fake name. Don't you see? It's her. Okay, let's say it is someone who looks like Amber. That doesn't mean I'm not leaving Costa Rica until I know the truth. Long silence on the phone. Diana, our flight is tomorrow. We can't just... Then change the flight. I'm not leaving. Another silence. What are you going to do? Diana looks toward the market, toward the fruit stand where her daughter was just yesterday. I'm going to wait for her to come back. Day 2, November 20th, Tuesday, 8 a.m. Diana positions herself at a cafe with a clear view of the fruit stand, orders coffee she doesn't drink, sits, watches, waits. Rachel and Teresa take turns sitting with her. They don't argue anymore. They just sit. Hours pass. Noon. The market is crowded now. Tourists, locals, vendors calling out prices. Diana doesn't move. Just watches that fruit stand. 2 p.m. Still nothing. 3 p.m. Rachel brings her food. Diana barely touches it. 4 p.m. The time the vendor said Maria usually comes. Diana's heart is pounding. Her hands grip the coffee cup so hard her knuckles turn white. 4:30 p.m. Still nothing. 5 p.m. The market is starting to quiet down, vendors packing up. 6 p.m. Most vendors have left. Still, no Amber. Rachel puts a hand on Diana's arm. Maybe she doesn't come every Tuesday. Maybe she's not coming. Diana's voice is flat, empty. She saw me yesterday. She knows I'm here. She's not coming back. Teresa leans in gently. Then maybe we should go home. Talk to the police. They can investigate. They can find her if... The police closed Amber's case in 48 hours 7 years ago. They called it an accident and moved on. Why would I trust them now? Diana stands up, defeated, exhausted. Let's go back to the hotel. But she doesn't believe this is over. She just needs a different plan. Day 3, November 21st, Wednesday. Diana stays in bed most of the day. Rachel and Teresa whisper outside the room. She's not okay. We need to get her home. What if she's right? What if it really was Amber? Then we call the FBI. We don't let her spiral like this. But around 2 p.m., Diana gets up, showers, gets dressed, looks different. Not defeated anymore. Determined. She goes to the hotel business center, prints out the photo of Amber, multiple copies. Rachel finds her. What are you doing? Diana doesn't look up. If she won't come to the market, I'll find where she lives. Diana, no, we can't. You can't. But I can. 3 p.m., Diana starts canvassing the area around the market, shows Amber's photo to shop owners, street vendors, anyone who'll look. Have you seen this woman? She might go by Maria Rivera. She has 2 small children. Most people shake their heads, don't recognize her. But then, around 5:30 p.m., A woman at a small grocery store pauses, looks at the photo longer. Maria? Yes, I know her. She shops here sometimes. Diana's heart races. Do you know where she lives? The woman hesitates. I'm not sure. Somewhere in the hills, I think. I see her driving an old pickup truck sometimes. Blue or gray. I don't know the address. It's not much, but it's something. Diana thanks her, keeps walking, keeps asking. By 7 p.m., she's exhausted, but she has pieces. Old blue or gray pickup truck. Lives in the hills outside town. The husband works construction. They keep to themselves. It's not an address, but it's a trail. Day 4, November 22nd, Thursday morning. Diana wakes up before sunrise. This is it. Their flight home is supposed to be at 6 p.m. tonight, but Diana's not getting on that plane, not without answers. She leaves another note. I need to do this alone. Don't follow me. I love you both. I'll be back before the flight. I promise. But it's a lie. She doesn't know when she'll be back, or if she will. 6:47 a.m. Diana enters a gun shop on the outskirts of town. The owner is just opening, looks surprised to see a customer this early. Diana's voice is steady, calm. I need a handgun. Whatever you have, I can pay cash. The owner studies her. American woman, middle-aged, determined eyes. In Costa Rica, gun laws are strict, but not impossible. With the right paperwork, a tourist can purchase a firearm for personal protection. Diana fills out the forms, uses her passport, pays in cash. By 7:30 a.m., Diana walks out with a 9mm handgun and a box of ammunition. She sits in her rental car in the parking lot, stares at the gun in her bag. What is she doing? She doesn't know yet, but she knows she needs to be prepared. For what? She's not sure. 9 a.m. Diana drives back to the market, parks where she can see the whole area, and waits. Hours pass. 10 a.m., 11 a.m., noon. She eats a protein bar from her bag, drinks water, doesn't leave. 1 p.m. Still waiting. 2 p.m. She's starting to think they won't come, that they've left town, that she's lost them. 3:47 p.m. An old blue pickup truck pulls into the market parking area. Diana's entire body goes rigid. The driver's side door opens. Connor steps out. Work clothes, boots, sunglasses. The passenger door opens. Amber steps out. Hair in a messy bun, sundress, sunglasses. The back doors open. 2 car seats. Connor unbuckles the boy, Marcus, maybe 5 years old. Amber lifts the girl, Sophia, maybe 3, out of her seat. Diana watches them walk into the market together. A family, shopping for groceries. Normal, easy, like they haven't destroyed anyone. Like Diana doesn't exist. Like 7 years of her screaming at an empty grave never happened. Diana's hands are shaking so badly she has to grip the steering wheel. She could confront them, here, in public, with witnesses. But the children are there. Those innocent children who've done nothing wrong. Diana makes a choice. She waits. 30 minutes later, they come back to the truck. Bags of groceries, the children eating ice cream. They load up, get in, start the engine. Diana waits until they pull out onto the road. Then she follows. She stays far enough behind that they won't notice, but close enough not to lose them. They drive out of town, into the hills, winding roads, modest neighborhoods. 20 minutes. Then the truck turns onto a dirt road. Diana pulls over, lets them get ahead, then follows slowly. At the end of the dirt road, a small yellow house. 1 story. Modest. Fenced yard with toys scattered. Diana parks a block away, hidden behind trees. Watches as they unload groceries. Watches as Amber unlocks the door. Watches as the children run inside. Watches as Connor follows, closing the door behind them. Diana sits there for 10 minutes, just staring. This is where they live. This is the life they built while she was drowning, while she was trying to kill herself, while she was screaming at an empty casket. They were here, living, laughing, being a family. Diana reaches into her bag, touches the gun. She's not sure what she's going to do, but she knows she can't walk away. Not now. Diana sits in her car for another hour, watching, waiting. 4:45 p.m. Through the window, she can see movement inside. Connor in the kitchen, Amber with the children in what looks like a living room. Normal domestic life. 5:20 p.m. Connor comes out of the house, work clothes still on, gets in the truck. Diana ducks down in her seat. The truck starts, backside of the driveway, drives past Diana's car without noticing her. Connor is leaving. Diana watches the truck disappear down the road. She looks back at the house. Amber is alone now. Just her and the children. Diana gets out of the car, walks slowly toward the yellow house. Her heart is pounding so hard she can hear it in her ears. Every step feels impossible, but she doesn't stop. She reaches the front door, raises her hand, knocks 3 times, steady, firm. Footsteps inside, light, quick. The door opens. Amber stands there. Old t-shirt, hair and a messy bun, coffee mug in hand. Behind her, the children. Marcus playing with toy cars on the floor, Sophia coloring at a small table. Amber and Diana lock eyes. Time stops. Amber's face drains of all color, all blood, all life. The coffee mug slips from her hand, falls, shatters on the tile floor. Brown liquid spreading, ceramic pieces everywhere. Amber's mouth opens. No sound comes out at first. Then, barely a whisper, "Mom." Diana's voice cuts through like a blade. "Don't."
Marcus, the 5-year-old, stands up. "Mommy, who is that?" Amber can't speak, can't move, can't breathe. Diana stares at her daughter. The daughter she buried. The daughter she mourned. The daughter she spent 7 years learning to live without. Standing right there, alive. Amber finally finds her voice, shaking, desperate. "Marcus, Sophia, go to your room, now." Marcus doesn't move. "But now, take your sister, go to your room, close the door, don't come out until I say." Her voice cracks on the last word. Sophia starts crying, sensing the fear, not understanding but knowing something is very wrong. Marcus looks scared, but obeys, takes Sophia's hand, leads her down the hallway. A door closes. Now it's just the 2 of them, mother and daughter, 7 years between them. 7 years of lies. Diana steps inside without being invited. Amber backs away, stumbling over the broken ceramic. "Please, I can explain." Keisha's voice is low, controlled, but shaking. 7 years. Amber's crying now, full tears. "I know. 7 years." The words break. Diana's voice cracks. All the control shatters. "You let me bury an empty coffin." Amber sobbing. "I'm so sorry. You let me scream at a grave with no body. I didn't know how to. You let me try to kill myself, twice." Amber's knees buckle. She grabs the doorframe to stay standing. "I wanted to tell you. I wanted to come back, but you didn't. Silence. Except for Amber's crying. Diana looks around the house, sees the life Amber built, photos on the wall, toys scattered on the floor, children's drawings on the refrigerator. A home, a family, built on her mother's suffering. Diana's voice is quieter now, colder. Where is he? Who? Connor, your stepfather, your husband, whatever he is to you now. Amber flinches, like the words are a physical blow. Because that's what Connor is, isn't it? All of those things. All of those impossible, horrible things. He's at work. Call him. Tell him to come home. Mom, please, we don't need to. Don't call me that. The words hit like a slap. You lost that right 7 years ago. Amber sobbing now. I'm so sorry. You let me scream at a grave with no body. I didn't know how to. You let me try to kill myself twice.
Amber's crying harder now. Please, we can talk. Just us. We don't need. We're going to wait for him. The finality in Diana's voice stops all argument. 5:45 p.m. Diana sits on the couch. Amber sits across from her in a chair, as far away as possible. The children are still in the bedroom, quiet now, probably scared. Diana doesn't take her eyes off Amber. Amber tries to speak several times, opens her mouth, closes it, can't find words that make sense. What do you say to the mother you destroyed? How do you explain the inexplicable? Diana finally speaks. Not yet. I want him here to hear this. So they wait. Hours pass. The afternoon drags on. Heavy. Suffocating. Around 6:45 p.m., Amber gets up. The kids need to eat. Diana nods. Amber goes to the bedroom, opens the door. Diana can hear her talking softly. Are you hungry? Let me make you dinner. She brings them to the kitchen, makes sandwiches, gives them juice boxes. Marcus keeps looking at Diana. Who is she? Amber's voice is barely holding together. An old friend. It's okay, sweetie. The boy doesn't believe her. Kids know when adults are lying. But he eats his sandwich, takes his sister back to the bedroom. Amber returns to her chair. Diana hasn't moved, hasn't eaten, hasn't looked away. Just waiting. 7:15 p.m. Diana breaks the silence. How old were you when it started? Amber stares at the floor. Long silence. 15. Diana closes her eyes, takes a breath, opens them again. Did I miss something? Some sign? Was I working too much, not paying attention? No. Then help me understand. Amber looks up, tears streaming. You were a good mother. You were perfect. Then why? The question hangs in the air. The only question that matters. Why would a daughter do this to her mother? Amber tries to explain. But how do you explain something you don't fully understand yourself? He made me feel special, like I mattered, like I was more than just your daughter, like I was my own person. Diana's jaw tightens. He groomed you. I didn't see it that way then. I thought it was love. I thought he understood me in a way nobody else did. You were a child. I know that now. But at 15, I felt like an adult, and he treated me like one. He was 37 years old, Amber. He was your stepfather. Amber cries harder. I know it was wrong, but by the time I understood what was happening, I thought I loved him, and I thought he loved me. And then the resort. Amber nods. Barely. He said we could start over, be together, have a family. He said you'd move on, that you were strong, that you'd be okay. Diana laughs. A bitter, broken sound. I tried to kill myself twice. Does that sound okay to you? Amber's face crumbles. I didn't know. He told me you'd be fine, that you'd grieve for a while and then move on, that you'd meet someone new, that you'd be happy eventually. And you believed him. I was 16. I was scared. The plan was already in motion. We were at the resort, and he kept saying it would be okay, that we'd be happy, that this was our only chance. You could have stopped it, could have told someone, could have come to me. I was terrified of him, of what would happen, of losing the life he promised me. Diana's voice drops, and then the years passed. Amber nods, barely audible, and then the years passed, and I had the kids, and I couldn't figure out how to come back, how to explain, how to face you. You could have called me any day, any moment. You could have come home. Amber's voice is barely a whisper. I was ashamed. You should be. Silence falls again. Amber wants absolution, wants her mother to understand, to forgive. But Diana's face is stone. No forgiveness there. Just pain and rage and 7 years of grief that can never be undone. Outside, the sound of a truck pulling into the driveway. 7:48 p.m. Connor is home. The sound of a truck engine cutting off, door slamming, heavy footsteps on the porch. Maya's eyes go wide. Terror crosses her face. Diana doesn't move, just waits. The front door opens. Connor walks in, still in work clothes, boots covered in dust, tired expression. Maria, whose car is... He stops, sees Diana sitting on his couch. Every drop of color drains from his face. All blood, all composure, all of the mask. Diana. Diana stands slowly, deliberately. Don't say my name. Connor looks at Amber, still calculating, still trying to control the situation. What did you tell her? Diana's voice cuts through. She didn't have to tell me anything. I saw you, both of you, at the marketplace, living your life, playing house with my daughter. Connor puts his hands up, placating, like he's dealing with a difficult client. Look, I know this seems... Diana's voice rises, 7 years of pain behind every word. This seems like you faked my daughter's death? This seems like you groomed a child. This seems like you let me bury an empty coffin while you built a family? Connor's expression shifts. The charm drops, replaced by something harder, colder. It's not what you think. Then tell me what it is. Connor glances at Amber, then back at Diana. And then he says, the unforgivable thing. Amber pursued me. I tried to stop it, but... Amber's voice cracks. Connor, stop! But Connor keeps going. Desperation creeping in now. She knew what she was doing. She wanted this. I didn't force her. Diana takes a step toward him. She was 15. She was mature for her age. She was a child. Diana's voice is shaking now. Not with fear, with fury. Connor's back is against the wall now, literally and figuratively. You need to leave, Diana. This doesn't concern you anymore. We've moved on. You should too. Diana stares at him, voice low, deadly. Doesn't concern me. She walks to the couch, reaches for her purse. Connor doesn't notice, too busy justifying himself. We're happy here. Amber's happy. The kids are happy. You showing up after 7 years, trying to ruin... Diana pulls out the gun. Connor's eyes go wide. All the color that drained from his face earlier, gone completely now. Diana, put that down. Amber screams, Mom, no! But Diana's hand is steady, pointed right at Connor's chest. You took my daughter. You faked her death. You let me suffer for 7 years. Connor backs toward the door, hands up. I can explain. Just put the gun down and we can talk. We can figure this out. You married me to get to her. That's not... You groomed a child. Connor's composure finally cracks, anger flashing through. She wanted it. She loved me. She chose me. Amber steps forward, moves between them, between her mother and the man who destroyed them both. Stop it, both of you, stop! She turns to Diana, pleading. Mom, please, he's not worth it. Diana's eyes never leave Connor. Get out of the way. Please, think about this. Think about what you're doing. I've thought about nothing else for 7 years. Connor sees his opening, thinks he can still manipulate this. This is crazy. You're crazy, just like you've always been. Amber told me how you... Diana's voice drops, ice cold. You destroyed everything. My daughter, my marriage, my life. You took 7 years from me that I'll never get back. Connor lunges for the door. The gun goes off. Bang! The sound fills the small house, deafening. Connor falls, clutches his chest, blood spreading fast across his work shirt. From the bedroom, children scream. Terrified screams. Amber screams. Diana scans there. Gun still raised, shaking now. Connor's on the floor, gasping, blood pooling beneath him. He looks up at Diana, confusion in his eyes, like he can't believe this is happening. You're crazy. Diana walks closer, stands over him. You destroyed everything. Connor tries to speak, blood in his mouth now. Amber, help me. He reaches toward Amber with one hand, pleading. Amber is frozen, back against the wall, staring at the blood, at Connor dying on her floor. Call ambulance. But Amber doesn't move. Can't move. Connor's breathing gets shallower, faster, desperate. Please! 1 minute passes. 2 minutes pass. His breathing slows. At 3 minutes, it stops. Connor Walsh dies on the floor of the house he built on lies. Silence. Except for the children crying in the bedroom. Muffled. Terrified. Diana drops the gun. Falls to her knees. What has she done?
The bedroom door bursts open. Marcus runs out. Mommy! He sees the body, sees his mother on the floor, stops dead. 5 years old. Too young for this. Way too young for this. Sophia follows, 3 years old, crying, doesn't understand, but knows something's very wrong. Amber snaps out of her shock, scrambles to her feet, grabs both children. Don't look, babies, don't look. She turns them away from Connor's body, shields their eyes with her hands. But Marcus already saw. You can see it in his face. That image is burned into his brain forever. Diana watches from across the room, watches her daughter comfort these children, her grandchildren, children she didn't know existed until 4 days ago, children who are innocent in all of this. They didn't ask to be born into lies, didn't ask for a father who groomed their mother, didn't ask for any of this. And now they're watching their world fall apart because of her. Diana stands slowly, legs shaking, walks toward Amber. Amber clutches the children tighter, terror in her eyes. Why? Amber can't speak, just crying, holding her babies. Diana's voice breaks. I loved you. Amber's sobbing. I know. I gave birth to you. I held you when you had nightmares. I stayed up all night when you were sick. I gave you everything. I know. I sacrificed everything. Double shifts, night school, working myself to exhaustion, everything so you could have a better life than I had. I know. Diana's crying now too. 7 years of pain pouring out. And this is what I get? The questions come rapid fire now, questions without good answers. Why me? Amber can't respond. What did I do to deserve this? Silence.
Was I not enough? You were. Did I love you wrong? Did I hold on too tight? Not tight enough? What did I miss? Amber's voice is barely a whisper. You were perfect. You were always perfect. Diana's voice rises again. Then why? Why would you do this to someone who loved you? Why would you let me suffer for 7 years? Amber looks up, eyes red, face destroyed. I don't know. And that's the truth. I was young and stupid and I don't know what I thought, but I was wrong about everything. Diana looks down, the gun on the floor where she dropped it. She bends down, picks it up. Amber's eyes go wide. Mom! Diana raises the gun, points it at Amber, finger on the trigger. Amber pulls the children closer. Please. Marcus's small voice cuts through. Don't hurt my mommy! Terrified, but brave, protecting his mother from the stranger with the gun. Sophia is hiding behind Amber now, crying, not understanding but knowing this is bad. Diana looks at them, really looks at them. The boy has Amber's eyes, the same eyes Diana saw in the mirror every day. Her eyes, her mother's eyes, passed down through generations. The girl has her grandmother's nose, the same nose from photos of Diana's mother. These children are her bloodline, her legacy, her family, and they're terrified of her. Diana's hand shakes, tears streaming down her face. God knows I should. Amber nods, accepting. I know. You took everything from me, my daughter, my happiness, 7 years of my life. I know. Silence. The gun pointed at Amber's head, the children crying. 7 years of pain versus 2 innocent faces. Then the gun drops, clatters on the floor. Diana sobbing. I can't do it. She looks at the children, back at Amber. Not in front of them, not to them. She's breathing hard now, like she just ran a marathon. They didn't ask for any of this. They didn't choose to be born into your lies. She looks directly at Amber. But you're dead to me. Do you understand that? Dead. Amber nods. Yes. Don't contact me. Don't write to me. Don't try to explain. We're done. Okay. Forever. I understand. Sirens in the distance, getting louder. A neighbor must have heard the gunshot, must have called police. Amber's voice is urgent now. You should go. Run. There's still time. Diana shakes her head. No. Mom, please, run. Get out of here before they... I'm done running. I've been running from this pain for 7 years, trying to escape it, trying to survive it. I'm done. The sirens are close now. On the street. Pulling up outside. Diana walks to the couch, sits down, puts her hands in her lap, and waits. Car doors slamming outside, footsteps running, radio chatter. The front door bursts open. Police! Hands up! 3 officers, guns drawn, seeing the body, the blood, the gun on the floor. Ma'am, step away from the weapon. Diana stands slowly, hands in the air. I shot him. He's dead. They move in fast, cuff her, pat her down. One officer reads her rights. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. Amber is still on the floor, holding the children, watching as they take her mother away. Diana looks back, one more time, sees Amber holding those children, protecting them, being a mother. Last image, her daughter alive, her grandchildren exist, and she's going to prison. November 22nd, 2023, 9:47 p.m. Diana sits in an interrogation room at the Costa Rican National Police headquarters, still wearing the same clothes, Connor's blood on her shoes. 2 detectives across from her, recording device on the table. They ask her to explain what happened. And she does. All of it. The resort in 2017, Amber's disappearance, the empty coffin, Connor leaving. 7 years of grief. The marketplace 4 days ago, the stalking, the confrontation, the gun. She tells them everything. The detectives listen, faces unreadable at first, but as the story unfolds, something changes. They exchange glances, write faster, ask her to repeat certain details. Wait, you're saying your daughter's death was faked 7 years ago? Yes. And the man you shot today was your ex-husband? Yes. Who was living with your daughter, who you thought was dead? Yes. One detective leaves the room, makes phone calls, runs checks. Carlos Rodriguez, the resort worker who helped fake Amber's death. Living in Miami now. Different resort, different name. He confesses within 2 hours. Explains the whole plan. The money. The timing. How Amber left the resort. Everything. Diana's story checks out. The detectives return to the interrogation room. Look at Diana differently now. Not like a murderer, like a woman who endured something unimaginable. November 23rd. Diana is charged with second-degree murder. Her lawyer arrives from Phoenix. Rachel hired the best she could afford. The lawyer listens to the story, takes notes, shakes his head. This is classic temporary insanity. 7 years of psychological torture, you see your dead daughter alive, you confront the man who destroyed your life. Any jury will understand. But understanding and acquitting are different things. Diana killed a man. That's a fact. Whether it was justified, that's for 12 strangers to decide. Amber is arrested the same day. Fraud. Conspiracy to fake her own death. Multiple counts. But her case is complicated. She was a minor when it started. 15 when Conor began grooming her. 16 when she faked her death. Prosecutors debate. Is she a victim or a criminal? Both. Evidence of coercive control is clear. Conor's grooming, the power imbalance, her age. But she's 24 now, an adult, and she maintained the lie for 7 years. Let her mother suffer. That has to count for something. The children, Marcus and Sophia, taken by Costa Rican social services that night. Emergency protective custody. They're traumatized. Marcus saw his father die. Sophia doesn't understand why mommy's gone. They're placed in temporary foster care. Evaluations begin. The custody battle. Rachel flies to Costa Rica immediately, files for emergency custody. She's their great aunt. Family is better than strangers. After 2 weeks of paperwork and home studies and background checks, the judge agrees. December 10th, 2023. Rachel gets custody. Brings them back to Phoenix. Marcus starts therapy immediately. Nightmares every night. Sophia clings to Rachel, cries for her mommy. But slowly they adjust. Children are resilient. They have to be. The media frenzy. Headlines. Mother kills daughter's groomer 7 years after faked death. Justice or murder? The Diana Foster case divides nation. Woman shoots ex-husband who faked stepdaughter's death. The story goes viral. Public opinion is divided. Completely split. Some people call Diana a hero, a mother who fought back against the man who destroyed her family, who ended a predator. Others call her a murderer, say she should have called police, should have let the system handle it, that vigilante justice isn't justice at all. Both sides are loud. Both sides are certain they're right. May 2024, 6 months after the shooting, the trial begins. It lasts 3 weeks. Prosecution argues premeditation. She bought the gun that morning. She went to the house. She waited all day for Conor to come home. This wasn't a split-second decision. This was planned. Defense argues temporary insanity. 7 years of grief, seeing her dead daughter alive, meeting the man who let her bury an empty coffin. Any reasonable person would snap. Expert witnesses testify. Psychologists, trauma specialists, grief counselors, they explain what Diana went through. The hospitalizations, the suicide attempts, the medication, 7 years of rebuilding a shattered life and then having it all destroyed again in a marketplace in Costa Rica. Character witnesses take the stand. Rachel, Teresa, co-workers, friends, they describe Diana before Amber died. Happy, loving, dedicated mother. And after, broken, barely surviving. Amber testifies too, from jail. Orange jumpsuit, shackles. She explains the grooming, the manipulation, the fake death. The courtroom is silent as she speaks. Some people cry. But sympathy for Amber doesn't equal sympathy for Diana. The question remains, was killing Connor justified?
June 15th, 2024. The verdict. Guilty, but not of second-degree murder. Voluntary manslaughter. The jury found that Diana acted in the heat of passion, that extreme emotional disturbance reduced her culpability. She killed Connor, that's not in question, but the circumstances matter. Diana shows no emotion, just nods, accepts it. She knew this was coming, made peace with it already. Sentencing. 8 years. Eligible for parole in 4. The courtroom reacts, mixed emotions. Some people think it's too harsh. Some think it's too lenient. Amber's trial. Amber's trial is separate, quieter, less media attention. She pleads guilty to fraud and conspiracy. Her lawyer argues her case. She was groomed, coerced, manipulated by a man 20 years older. The judge acknowledges this, but also notes she had 7 years to come forward, to tell the truth, to end her mother's suffering. She chose not to. Sentencing. 5 years, federal prison. Amber cries when the judge reads it, but doesn't argue. She knows she's guilty of something, even if she's not sure exactly what. November 2024, 1 year later. Diana is in a federal prison in Georgia. Minimum security, good behavior. Rachel brings the children to visit once a month. They sit across from each other, glass partition between them, phones to talk. Marcus is 6 now. He asks questions. Why did you shoot my daddy? Diana doesn't lie, doesn't sugarcoat. Because he hurt people. He hurt your mommy when she was young. He hurt me, and I was very, very angry. Are you sorry? Pause. Long pause. I'm sorry you had to see it. I'm sorry you're hurting. But no, I'm not sorry he's gone. Marcus thinks about this, nods slowly, doesn't really understand, but accepts it. Sophia is 5 now. She doesn't remember much, just knows Grandma Diana lives here, behind glass. She presses her hand against the partition. Diana presses hers on the other side. Small moment, but it matters. Amber is in a different facility, federal prison in Pennsylvania. She also gets visits from the children, different schedule, different weeks. Confusion for Marcus and Sophia. 2 mommies in prison. 1 for killing, 1 for lying. Which is worse? They're too young to understand. Maybe nobody understands. Diana is in therapy. Mandatory. 3 times a week. Processing everything. The shooting, the choice, the consequences. She writes letters to the children every week, draws pictures with them during visits, tries to be a grandmother from behind glass. Amber is in therapy too, processing her victimhood, her choices, her guilt. She writes letters to Diana every week, apologizing, explaining, begging for forgiveness.
For 8 months, Diana doesn't respond. Then, in October 2024, Diana writes back. One sentence. The kids are okay. They ask about you. That's all. But it's something. A crack in the door. Not forgiveness, not reconciliation, but acknowledgement. November 2024. A documentary crew visits Diana in prison. She agreed to the interview, wants to tell her story, wants people to understand. She looks different now, calmer. The wild grief in her eyes has settled into something quieter. Still pain, always pain, but manageable now. The interviewer asks the question everyone wants answered. Do you regret it? Shooting Connor. Diana thinks, really thinks. I regret that it came to that. I regret that those children saw what they saw. I regret that I'm in here instead of being with my grandchildren. But I don't regret that he's dead. He was a predator. He destroyed lives, and the system let him get away with it. The interviewer pushes. Some people say you should have called the police. Let them handle it. Diana laughs, bitter. The police closed Amber's case in 48 hours. They called it an accident and moved on. They didn't find Connor, didn't find Amber, didn't find the truth. The system failed me 7 years ago. Why would I trust it then? So you took justice into your own hands. I took my life back. Final questions. And Amber? Do you think she deserved prison? Long silence. Amber was a child when it started. A victim. But she was an adult when she maintained the lie. When she let me suffer year after year. So yes, I think she needs to pay for that. Not the same way Connor paid, but something. Do you think you'll ever forgive her? Another long silence. I don't know. Maybe one day. But not today. Not yet. Diana Foster will be eligible for parole in 2028. Amber Foster will be released in 2029. Connor Walsh is dead, buried in an unmarked grave in Birmingham, Alabama. His mother attended the funeral alone. Marcus and Sophia are thriving with their great-aunt Rachel in Phoenix. They're in therapy, they're building a life. Was justice served? That depends on who you ask. Diana made a choice. To pull that trigger. To end Connor's life. To spare Amber's. Was it the right choice? Was it justice? Or murder? Maybe it's both. Maybe it's neither. Maybe there is no right answer when a mother buries her daughter. When a child is groomed by the man meant to protect her. When 7 years of grief explode in a single moment. Diana Foster remains in federal prison. Amber Foster remains in federal prison. Marcus and Sophia are 8 and 6 years old. Connor Walsh's crimes died with him. Some ghosts deserve to stay dead. If you spent 7 years grieving a lie, what would you have done? The Marshall Chronicles. Subscribe for stories where justice finds its way, even when it shouldn't. Like if you think Diana was justified. Comment, murder or justice?